He's Roch Kubatko. Roch, the first thing I'd like to say to you is I'm sorry that you are deprived from being out here in the beautiful sun soaking in the vitamin D. I know you feel deprived by that.
How's that heat? Because I can get you the Tom Davis drop cloth if you need to catch all the sweat that's gathering.
Well, the camera does not show my lap because there is a towel right here. Don't think this is just all natural. There's a towel. I'm not that cool. Roch, the trade deadline is approaching right now, and I'm sure there are players in that clubhouse that are wondering where they'll be come August.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Mansolino said something the other day about, whether that's a story angle that the team might be impacted, distracted at all, worrying about the deadline, and it's only a story if that's what you guys choose to write that day. Fair enough, but let's face it, guys know. I mean, they know the date is July 31st, and they know that that clubhouse could really undergo some major changes, and they want to stay together, though you would think there might be some pending free agents that would like the chance to go to a contender, but really they're hoping to stay together. It's hard to concede, even though you're 11 under 500, that this might be it. And, again, it's the same list of suspects. Ryan O'Hearn, a lot of interest out there in him, and the team's obviously got to listen, and his value's never been higher. And of course, they could always do kind of the alternative would be to say we'd really like to bring him back, but I just feel like if you have the right offer, that's a guy that could likely go. And anybody in the bullpen that's a pending free agent. And that's Sir Anthony Dominguez, it's Gregory Soto. Andrew Kittredge is interesting because he's got that $9 million option, which I know is appealing to other teams. But you know what? It's also appealing to the Orioles because they do think they can contend next year. So they may want to bring him back. But again, let's see what the offers are. Then you've got Zach Eflin. If he proves to teams that he's healthy, that's a top-tier guy, a top-tier chip. Cedric Mullins possibly. Who knows about Sagano? He would be an interesting one, also pending free agent. Felix Bautista, I keep seeing some outlets mention him. I saw somebody write that, hey, the Orioles are listening on him. And I ask again, Rob, what's the alternative? Do you not listen at all? Do you cover your ears? Do you not answer the phone? Of course, if somebody calls about Felix, you listen, and then you have the freedom to say no. And especially, again, they think they're going to contend next year. A guy that's that dominant and under team control for as long as he is, you would just have to be absolutely overwhelmed by an offer to move him. I'm sure there are plenty of teams that are asking. I find it very hard to believe that he would be moved.
I find that hard to believe as well, Roch. In the case of trades or even getting healthy, what does an August rotation for the Birds look like?
Yeah, a lot of it does depend, I guess, on the deadline and who's removed. But, Kyle Bradish had a couple ups yesterday in Sarasota, and he's going to pitch Thursday at Aberdeen. First rehab assignment, and the target all along has been, hey, by August, let's get him back. So there's a guy there, Cade Povich, threw 62 pitches last night in Norfolk. He's going to make another start there Thursday or Friday. Tyler Wells is getting close to a return. Maybe he's throwing today, facing hitters, but he's ready soon to go on an assignment. The question becomes, is he rotation or is he bullpen? And that's something the Orioles haven't really talked about much yet, because they're looking more at, hey, let's just get him back healthy. Brandon Young is somebody, he's pitching Tuesday in Cleveland, and it makes sense, especially if you don't think you can get back in the wild card race, to start him every 5 or 6 days and see what you've got and give him that experience. Dean Kramer, was it 4.06 ERA now and 2 in his last 6 starts. So, he's certainly a guy that's kind of moving up as far as his importance in that rotation, getting closer to kind of being the guy that they'd envisioned. So, this rotation could look a lot different when you add these guys. But, of course, there are going to be possibly some subtractions, and that's how you end up making room.
Back in April, we didn't think there would be a world where Kyle Bradish could possibly end up back before Grayson Rodriguez. And now I ask the question, will Grayson Rodriguez even pitch in 2025?
Yeah. I should mention, too, Charlie Morton's another one who could be the trade chip. But Rodriguez, it is hard to believe we have not seen him pitch since July 31st last year. And it's been an array of things. The lat, remember March 5th in Fort Myers, there was the sluggish feeling that he had. His velocity was really down, and then we were told about some elbow soreness, but he said it was kind of triceps, and then all of a sudden it was a shoulder problem, but it became the lat, which is happening again with him. He had a side session that was canceled because of a sore shoulder, ends up being lat. He stressed to us when we were finally able to talk to him about it, that the elbow's fine structurally. There's no concerns about that it really was more of the lat that he was trying to fix. And they adjusted his arm slot, thinking maybe that would help him because he's had injuries to it at least 3 times now.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, he's being pulled back, and he had been throwing bullpens and mixing in his breaking ball because of that elbow soreness. And again, we're told it's the same area where it was in spring training when nobody was concerned about surgery. But it is weird to think about, and we're going to know more next week or later this week supposedly, but weird to think that this guy could potentially miss an entire season, half of the previous one, and still not have undergone surgery. Usually that's when that happens. It's just been these setbacks, and I've had people ask me for years, should he be more of a bullpen guy moving forward to keep him healthy? And I keep saying, with that ceiling as a starter, that's what you're trying to develop him as. You don't think about bullpen right now. At some point you may consider it, but first they just want to get him back to facing hitters, get him back in games, get him on a rehab assignment, and get him back on this major league club. And it looks like he's a long way from that.
He's a long way from that. Roch Kubatko, thank you very much, my friend. I enjoyed the game. Hopefully we get a win before we leave here.
Yes, hopefully you get a wind.
Some win, I got you.